Chris Taylor says, if Hillary isn't indicted over these email server crimes despite the evidence in the FBI results, does that make everyone else in jail for equal or lesser crimes into political prisoners? Since apparently they had to be found guilty of both whatever their official crime was and the unofficial crime of not being politically corrected enough. Or has that ship already sailed? Chris, if they don't press charges against Hillary Clinton, then it is the end of the rule of law in this country, and people need to start saying it. And we need to say there is an aristocratic class in this country, and it consists of rich and powerful people who have a D after their name and who contribute to the Democratic Party. And there's only one person to blame for this. Well, there's one institution to blame for this, and it's the press, the press, the press, the press, the press, the press, the press. The most brilliant thing the progressives did was start to take over the journalism department. Once they control the information, then, it's over. Most people don't think there's anything to the email. If you ask Democrats about the email scandal, they'll say it's tempest in a teapot. Why? Because that's what MSNBC says, and because it's not on the CBS News every night. Abu Ghraib was on the front page of the New York Times every day for 52 days. So that must have been important, that stuff that happened over a weekend. But this is not, and so people don't, as I've said before, it's not just a question of not covering the news. The fact that they're not covering it all the time tells people it's not a story, certainly not an important story. But if she walks on this, then yes, those people should be released. And one of the big things now is that how does the FBI, this is what I think is actually the biggest incentive for there actually to be charges filed against her. How does the FBI and the CIA and the NSA and all the rest of these guys ever file charges against anybody ever again if Hillary Clinton just walks? I mean, how do they ever prosecute a guy who takes a thumb drive out of the office with some minor thing on it and try to put this guy in jail for security violations when the Secretary of State has 1,276 top secret or above emails on a server in a bathroom someplace? The people are going to die because of this. We will see consequences to this, but this will be long after, Barack Obama's out of office. It'll probably be 2, 3, 4 years from now before we really start to see the damage to all of this. And look, if she walks, then we just as conservatives just need to say, okay, we no longer have an agreement where we agree to be governed by the government, and in exchange for that, they have to follow the same laws as we do. They don't follow the same laws that we do, so we're not going to agree to be governed by them anymore. And I don't think that necessarily means an armed revolution. I think it really means, okay, we know what we're dealing with, so starve it. People have been talking about going galt and all the rest of this stuff, but, seriously, if Hillary walks and Bernie wants to put in a 93% tax rate, give them their socialism, give them their lawlessness, withhold everything. The people who work hard in this country are the people who are the ones who should be looking out for themselves. And if you're running a business and you've got enough money to not run the business, close the business. What else do you do? It's like a cancer tumor. You have to starve it of the blood supply. Cheryl points out, if Snowden, well, she mentioned Snowden. If Snowden had been a Democrat, if Snowden had been Joe Biden, he wouldn't be in trouble either. So what do you say? It will be, and I think Roger Simon or Glenn Reynolds or somebody pointed out that if Hillary Clinton walks, it will be a revolution of the middle, of the quiet middle that actually pays the taxes and does the work. And I don't think they want to see that, because it's one thing if you have, Occupy Wall Street or Black Lives Matter rioting, but if the country, part of the country that does all the work and pays all the taxes, gives up, you could be in for a lot of trouble. If Hillary Clinton walks, that will be the end of this republic as we understand it. And it will be because of aristocracy. And the person who debates her, if she's the nominee, because if she walks, she will be the nominee, just simply needs to say, here are 2 statutes that you violated. It's got nothing to do with top secret. It simply says you must turn them in. You can't tamper with them. You've obviously broken these 2 laws. There's no question you broke the 2 laws. Just the fact that you had your own server means you broke the 2 laws. So since you're above these 2 laws, please tell the American people what other laws you're above. I'm going to assume it's all of them. But I think you need to tell them why you can get away with this and nobody else can. And what other laws do you plan to break when you're elected? It's unbearable.